are some things
Oops,
I do
sorry.
want to go over today, but let's start with Miriam's question. Who can tell her how to find the information on MLS?
I would first I would start by asking, who are you trying to call? Is it just regular owners, or is this specifically FSBO's expired? Like, what are you aiming for?
Well, I'm trying to, okay, everybody knows about my Condotel listing that has been going on forever. So it's now I'm aiming on other owners of this Condotel because I did some open houses. Some people came in like, oh, I'm looking for certain type of unit. So I'm aiming on those owners. I already found some who has already equity and fully paid.
Yeah.
So now I can get their addresses, but of course I want to call. And that has been the issue, how to find their phone numbers, their contact details.
Yeah, of course. Also, you said it's a condo building, so you obviously have their addresses and it's in one building, correct?
No, because most of them are absent owners. So
Okay.
so there is an address where they reside.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Into the chat, and TechBits just put the one that I was going to recommend. There is Spyfly. It is free for the first 7 days. One of our partner agents has used this for, I want to say she's been using this for like a year, right, TechBits? She's been using it for quite some time now. And it is a phenomenal tool. It's a skip tracing tool. You're able to type in people's information and search for them. And it will provide you with contact information, also relative information and their contact information, other known things like that. So if anyone's familiar with the term skip tracing, that's basically what it is.
And like Robert just said, go to the tax records, because that's where you're going to get the owner's information.
And then Liz also put in Remine. So there's 3 places you can start for owner's information. I hope that helps, Miriam.
Yeah, like property tax and Remine, I will usually find the addresses, correct? But not like the numbers. So I think Spyfly, maybe I'll be able to find the numbers.
Yeah, you will be able to. I personally have used it. I've been able to take a dive trial in there, and it's very impressive.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tiffany, put that name of that place, that whatever you're talking about, in the chat box for everybody, would you?
Yeah, it's in there. TechBits put it in. It's called Spyfly.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was going to do is a quick review of the last 8 weeks, and maybe give some more tips and ideas that I came up with over the thinking about it. So if we have any questions that anybody wants to start with, we'll take that first, but other than that, I'll jump right into the review. Anybody questions? Nope. All right. Stop me anytime, interrupt me anytime. I don't care. So I'm going to share a screen because I like props. So, and I don't like to just have you watch my face. So let's start with a review of what we did for the last 8 weeks. We did choosing 2 forms of lead generation. So just by a show of hands or nodding or whatever, how many of you have chosen 2 forms of lead generation as a result of this? Awesome. Awesome. And then we talked about scheduling and management. Does anybody still have problems with their time management, with their calendars? Is that any of these things that you want to continue to go into or have a special workshop on? Let us know. Put it in the chat box. If you want more information on choosing lead generation areas, or you want more information on how to work your calendar better or schedule your time better. Then we talked about working with buyers, the tools and how to actually do a demonstration. Oh my gosh, George did a great job going through, showing the house, what he says, what he does, what he takes with him. So how many of you implemented the information that he gave you, put together your own buyer's packet? How many of you did that? Good job. Okay. I can't see a whole lot of you because of the slide presentation. So Tiffany, if you'll keep track of the chat box, that would be great. And then we went through working with the sellers, the tools, and then George again did a demonstration of doing a listing presentation. Was that helpful to you guys? Can somebody come off mute and tell me how working the buyers, the sellers, how's that helped you with your business in the past few weeks? Somebody wants to talk, come on. Nobody wants to tell me what they've done, that they have a new buyer, new seller, they use this information on. Okay, if I could see you, I'd call on somebody, but I can't. All right, and then we talked about contract to close. Claire was great. She came in and talked about contract to close, gave us some really good information. And then we talked about vendor relationships. So I need somebody to come off of mute and talk about what they learned over this last 8 weeks and how it's affected them for any or all of the workshops.
Liz, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'll talk. Good morning,
Yay!
everyone. How are
Hey, Liz.
you? So I guess for me, it was nice that I actually had something a little more formal, because like I had a buyer's presentation, same thing with the listing presentation. However, just getting it really concrete and working on it the way that it best represents me and the team, I thought that was super incredible. So thank you for the emphasis on it, because for me, 9 times out of 10, I don't actually go through the listing, like that part of it. However, being able to leave it there and it's tangible to the sellers, really made a difference for me. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for that, and just the emphasis on it, because being prepared is, I mean, guys, being prepared is everything, and that's how you're going to get more listings. However, it's not the actual, if you have it and you're not practicing what to say and how to say it, you're not gonna get the listing. So don't think that just because you have this fancy listing presentation that it's gonna do you any justice if you're not putting it into action. So hopefully that kind of helps. But yeah, that was that. And really strengthening vendor partners, and utilizing them, like understanding that it's a give and take, right? You have to give a little bit, they're going to give a little bit, and getting their support, guys. I mean, it's super huge. It definitely helps with some expenses as well. So always keep that in mind, but don't expect somebody to cough up, all this money if you haven't even given them a piece of business. So just coming from contribution is priority. And I just appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well said, my friend. Anybody else have something to say? Okay. I will move on. Okay. I want to take you through a visualization. You have, as an agent, 3 jobs, right? You have lead generation, you have clients, and you have admin work. So what I'd like you to do is visualize that every one of those is a glass ball. And any time during your career, you are balancing, juggling those balls. And if you let one fall, the rest collapse as well. What I know from working with agents for a long time is that you get caught up in one part of it. So I know a lot of new agents are really working hard on lead generation, and they're spending a lot of time looking for leads, and they're doing a lot of admin work. So once you add that client into the mix, it becomes now a real juggling act, because if you start working only with clients and you're holding that ball in your hands and you're not thinking about your lead generation or your admin, they start to roll off the edge of the desk, and then they get lost and they fall underneath the sofa and you don't know where they are. So I want you to think about that. Juggling those is something that you're going to have to learn how to do, and you're going to have to keep them all in motion at the same time. And then when we add on life on top of all of that, then you have even more balls to juggle. So that schedule becomes super, super, super important. If you don't have a schedule that has what you are doing every 15 minutes on it, or in 15-minute increments, then you are not keeping a schedule that's going to keep those balls in the air. If you need to make a phone call, if you need to get a dentist appointment for your child, if you need to go take something to the dry cleaners, that needs to be on your schedule. Not just the huge things, all of the things need to be on your schedule so that you actually know what you're doing at any given time. And if something comes in and interrupts you, then you can just put it to another schedule, into another slot, and move on. Otherwise, things get lost. You forget to make the dentist appointment. You forget that you're supposed to show up for your son's basketball game. You forget things that are really, really important. So I just can't emphasize enough the importance of scheduling. And I tell you this because I come from being a fly by my seat of my pants kind of person, and having that schedule was like pulling teeth for me. But once I got it down, it really freed me up. And I promise you that it will do that.
Can I touch on the calendar part?
Oh, you
Because
can.
it's one of my favorite things, really. And we've been talking about this with on my team as well. One of the very first meetings we had together as a team was talking about your schedule, taking a look at the calendar. Of course, things that absolutely have to be done. And I get it. For some of us, especially in the beginning, real estate was not our first career or only career, and that's okay. Obviously, you have the career, your first primary focuses on there, whether that is career or family or health. But then when you see the white spaces on your calendar afterwards, that's where you start to fill in real estate. And it's okay if you only have 10 hours out of the week to give to real estate. You look at that 10 hours and you still break down, what are those main jobs that I have to do? What days am I going to do it? And you put those things on your calendar. And in the beginning, it seems kind of silly and for some tedious. But when you utilize it correctly, it's a beautiful thing. I use my calendar as my admin heavily, not just to remind me of things, but if any one of you were like, oh, Tiff, I need to sit down with you for a Zoom. Can you show me this? I'm giving you my Calendly link because that's connected to my calendar. It knows my availability better than I do. So when I need to set an appointment or anything like that, I'm looking at my calendar. And when you really get geeky and technical about it, I have a calendar for each one of my listings. It's in my calendar. I just add a new calendar and I put on everything. The day we listed, the open houses, every single showing gets added to that calendar. That way, if my clients were to ever ask, how many showings did we have on that first Tuesday? Let me pull it up. We had 6 showings that first Tuesday. This is the feedback that I received from them, because for me, and some of you might be like, oh, that's overkill, Tiffany. But for me, because I hate having to go search for the answers, I'm good at it, but I want it right there, right now, because I'm a high D. So even when I, for my listing calendar, put on that another agent is showing my listing, I have the agent's name, I have the agent's phone number, I have the agent's brokerage, all in that calendar event. So I know exactly who saw my listing and when. You can utilize that calendar in a number of different ways. If you find that you have challenges, weaknesses, things that you're not very good at, and for some of us, it can be time management. It can be remembering to do the things. Please look into utilizing a calendar to supplement you, to help you set up those healthy habits. Because it really can work. Some of you might be like, well, I like a paper calendar. You can't use Calendly with your paper calendar, but you can still use a paper calendar if that's your jam.
Yep.
If you want to use both, then so be it. In the mornings when you're looking in front of your computer, make sure your paper calendar reflects what's on there and then go. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox because I love calendars so much. And it's something that I would have never thought as growing up, a teenager in my 20s, like, I love my calendar. I live and breathe and die by it. But that's exactly what the truth of it is today.
We're
Liz, you
con-
got your hand up.
we're
Yeah,
converts.
I was gonna touch base on, sorry guys, my dog is being a crazy right now. I was gonna actually touch base on that too, like having a calendar and having and knowing what you're doing every single day is crucial to your business, because what happens is, guys, we have a to-do list that is probably as like from here to Timbuktu. Like really and truthfully, like we have so many things that we're trying to cram in a day. However, if it's not on your schedule, how are you going to get it done? There's no way of getting it done. So by putting, like, for me, I live by my calendar, and I will tell you, every producing agent or anybody in a who is producing in any kind of business has a calendar. When you make a doctor's appointment, you're on their calendar so they know how they're doing it. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. So if you manage your calendar, you are going to be just fine. Now, it's not just saying, hey, I'm going to lead gen for 2 hours and you're just sitting there. No, you actually have to do the action. But just it's absolutely crucial. It allows people to respect your time, as well as, hey, if you only want to work freaking 3 hours a day for 4 days a week, and that's what you want to do for real estate, guess what? If you're purposeful with those 3 hours, you will make 100 grand.
Yeah.
You will make 100 grand. So if you give it 3 hours a day, you're purposeful with the calendar on what you're going to be doing in that time, and do whatever the hell you want for the other 21 hours, you will be just fine.
Well said. Joe, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think on top of that, I mean, having a good morning routine is also important. Like that kind of gets you right into lead generating in the morning if it's right. It gets your mood right. For me, like this is actually, I'm going on day 4 of really following my routine, really trying to stick to it. Before this week, I was not motivated to jump into lead generating. It'd be 10 o'clock and I'd be looking for every excuse not to do it. And it seems like, ever since my alarm goes off at 7, I have not snoozed it this week once. So that's a big win for me. And then go into shower, get dressed, make my smoothie, get on the call. And then as soon as this call ends, I go right into practicing my scripts, and then boom, I go to calling. And that's it. That's my block off period. Blocked off, nothing can get in the way of that. And then, but that's been huge for me. Just going, and it's on my calendar. I have it on my Outlook calendar when I'm lead generating, and then after that, I'm free.
Good job. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to add?
One last thing for those who haven't quite shifted from that business to that business owner mindset. If you've done self-reflection and you realize, I really need someone to just tell me what to do, make that be your calendar.
Good job. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can set up the reminders, you can put it in all caps, asterisks, so you feel like it's yelling at you. But if you need someone or something to tell you what to do, when to stop, when to shift to something else, make it your calendar.
And just a word to the wise, don't have 2 calendars or 3 calendars. If you've don't merge them, because the worst mistake you can have is have a personal calendar over here and a business calendar over here, and you make appointments that at the same time that both calendars don't know about. And so now you have to choose between meeting a buyer and picking up your daughter from ballet lesson. So that's not a good thing.
That happened to me because I set up my family on the Apple calendar, but everything else in my life is my personal doctor's appointment go on my Google calendar. But for whatever reason, I told my kids to put their stuff on Apple calendar. So now I'm having to go through and shift them over to a Google calendar.
Yep. Just, you have to take control of your time, because honestly, that's the most important thing you have, regardless of whether it's for your business or your personal life. Giving your time is the most important thing that you have. So let's talk about some things. Now, these are basic things, but if you have not done them, I want you to think about them. One is, if you have been in the business less than 3 years, stop thinking about 5 years, 10 years, even a year in advance. Set your business up on the quarterly increments. Why? Because if you find at this stage of the game that you have decided you want to do one type of lead generation, let's say you wanted to do open houses, and you get through 2 months of doing open houses and you go, I hate this. And so in your head, all you're thinking about is like, I'm going to have to do this for the rest of my life because I set the goal to do this and I set this as my lead generation thing. No, you don't have to do that. You have set it in 3 months, 90 days. Now you take a look back at the end of 90 days. What worked? What was good? What did I like? What resulted in a good result, and what didn't? And now you can make changes in your calendar. You can make changes in your business, and then you move forward to the next 90 days. You're going to have a year or two of trial and error. So don't get stuck in, I made this decision and I'm going to move forward. No, you don't have to do that. Change is good as long as it's moving you forward. Doing the same thing over and over again and headed in the wrong direction is not going to get you where you want to go. So use the 90-day rule for a while, at least for a while. Should you have a 10-year goal? Of course you should. 5-year goal? Of course you should. Even a year goal? Of course you should. But that doesn't mean that you can't make changes along the way. So it's just a really good rule of thumb. The next one, anybody has anything to say, Tiffany, just let me know, okay? Open if you have not. And if you have not, and you do this, I promise you, when you see me, you will buy me a glass of wine. This will change your life. I can't tell you how many agents over the years that I've managed or brokerages have gone into debt, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because they did not manage their money. If you talk about an agent that did $6.5 million and could not pay their taxes at the end of the year, that's a problem. Go open two accounts, a savings account, a checking account, and then get a credit card with that bank so that all of those things run through, though all your business accounts run through those 3 accounts. You use your credit card for every single thing you possibly can. You don't use another credit card and then another credit card and then this credit card. One credit card for every piece of business expenses that you do. You take somebody lunch, put them on that credit card. Your board dues, you put it on that credit card. All of the things that you do, your EXP expenses, you put that on your credit card. At the end of the year, what you're going to have is all of your expenses for your taxes, and you're going to know what you spent. If you do 2 accounts, bank accounts, a checking account and a savings account, every time you get a commission check, you put it in the checking account. You take 20% of that out and you put it into the savings account, and you don't touch that savings account because you know what, guys, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the government. You have to pay your taxes. And if you have to put it on a credit card or you have to take cash advances, you're just going into debt. So do this for yourself. Please, please, please. If you do not have this, before this day is over, go down to a bank and get that done. It is hugely important for your business. Okay, tips. Save your money. I talk to so many agents that are new that are spending tons of money on things they don't need. We have amazing training. You don't have to go out and pay $500 to sit at a training seminar. Until you know everything that the people here at EXP know, don't spend your money on outside trainings. Stop spending your time on these online trainings that have nothing to do with what you're really doing. You don't even have a pathway yet. Stay with EXP training. It's the best in the industry. I will tell you that. I've been here a long time. Don't go out and pay for seminars. Go to the world. Go take a class. Contact your sponsor. Contact your mentor. Get their ideas of where you should be going to take the EXP trainings. but stay in-house. Don't spend your money. Spend your money on signs, spend your money on networking events, spend your money on things that'll make you money because you already have the training here. It's huge.
Another thing, please stop spending money on services that truly only save you time, because right now you have the most time. Save your money for later, because I promise you will need those finances to dedicate for leveraging later. In the beginning, you hear us leverage. Yes, we do want you to leverage when you have reached your maximum bandwidth. And I promise you haven't been there yet. You haven't. And there's a lot of agents that are like, oh, I'm going to pay $500 a month for this service. And I'm like, oh, what does it do? Oh, well, it gives me the phone numbers to call for expireds. And like, is expireds your focus? Is it your niche? No, it's not, but I really just need some deals. Okay, well, you can find all of that information on SpyFly for calling them and using the free stuff you have from your MLS. SpyFly is less than $100 a month. Why are you paying $500 a month just for someone to go and pull the numbers for you? Take the extra time to pull the numbers yourself and save the extra, that $400. So please be conscious. There's a lot of shiny objects out there. When you get interested in a service or something else, please do the proper research to figure out what is this really going to do for me? Can I do this myself? If I can do it myself, how much time would it take me? Because I'm telling you, you need to learn how to do these things anyways, truly, really. You need to learn how to do them yourself. For example, a great example is a TC. I love TCs. I respect the hell out of what they do, but new agents do not need a TC. You need to learn the paperwork. You
better tell everybody what a TC is.
A TC is a transaction coordinator. Yeah, and I respect them and I love mine, but I didn't need her the first 2-3 years. I thought I did. What I needed was the experience. Liz, you got your hand up, babe. What's up?
I was going to say that when you get into this business, guys, there's so many shiny objects, people telling you to buy this, buy that, and everything like that. You don't need any of that. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't need any of that bullshit. Like, as long as you're having conversations, you're updating your CRM, you know your contracts in and out, you're good. Really and truthfully, once you start doing 2 to 3 transactions consistently a month for about, I would say a good 4 or 5 months, then you can consider hiring a transaction coordinator, because that's going to free up time for you to be able to double your business, or even just take it to the next level. However, you need the initial, as Tiffany mentioned, you need the initial experience to be able to learn what the heck you're talking about. Most people try to shortcut this business, and it's not going to help you. It's only going to put you in real estate jail. I'm a control freak. It was up until 6 months ago. I think that I actually got a transaction coordinator because I am a control freak and I like things done a certain way. And my clients like that I do things a certain way. So if I didn't know all the ins and outs of my business, I wasn't going to be able to show someone else when I did have to hire someone else of what they need to do and how they need to do it.
And
so
that's crucial.
It is
Super
so crucial.
If you don't know what you're hiring somebody to do, how do you know they're doing it? And are they doing it your way, or are they doing it their way? And how are your clients responding to what they're doing? If you don't know that, you can't teach it, and you lose control, right?
These are my to-do. I print out a to-do list for me every single day. And the top 2 things are lead generate and lead follow-up. If I get to everything else, that's an admin thing. If I get to it, cool. I know that, I had a very productive day. However, nothing comes first than me lead generating and me lead following up. That's just what it is. you have 5 jobs as an agent. Lead generate, lead follow-up, set appointments, negotiate contracts, script, and role play. Those 5 things should be on your to-do list. I'm a pen and pencil kind of gal. I've started using my computer to print stuff out, so woohoo, I'm upgrading. However, those are the 5 things that are on my to-do list every single day. And then I have a bunch of other admin stuff that I need to do. So I'm like, if I have to stay up a little later to get it done, or if I don't get it done today and I can do it tomorrow and add it onto tomorrow's list, so be it. But those are the 5 things that you should be doing every single day. I'm not saying training isn't important, because it's super important. It's definitely number 6. However, if you haven't done step 1 and step 2, you should not be on step 6.
Absolutely.
There's my piece. I'm sorry, guys.
I love you. The next thing is build your bunker. And what does that mean? That means that we work at home. And if you have anybody else in your house, they will come in because they own you, right? You're the mom or you're the dad. Then why can't I walk in and ask you a question? Why can't I ask you, can I turn on the TV? Can I go out play? Can I? Set up your space and set your office hours. Talk to your family. I need to be undisturbed in the morning while I do my lead generation. If it's an emergency, if somebody's bleeding, if somebody's throwing up, then come and get me. Otherwise, please don't interrupt me until noon, and I'll come out and have lunch with you. I don't care what you do, how you say it. Well, I do, don't be mean, but set your hours and be true to your schedule. It is so easy when we work at home to be distracted. It is so easy. And it's really frustrating for a client if you're talking to them through a Zoom meeting, or you're talking to them on the phone, and somebody keeps coming, a child keeps coming in, your spouse keeps coming in, interrupting you. The dogs are barking, the cats are jumping on your face. That's disruptive. It may not be mean, it may not be loud, it just disrupts the business flow. So set your hours, ask not to be disturbed. If you have a room that you're in, have an office, close the door, put a do not disturb sign on the outside. Teach your children that's when I'm working. That's when mommy's working. That's when daddy's working. Please don't disturb us during that time. It will make a huge difference in how your customers relate to you and what they think of you as far as professionalism. And some of you are thinking, yeah, but they like my kids. I take my kids with me. They like my kids. They might like your kids. But if you want to know the truth, they're not looking at you as a professional at that point in time when you have your kids with you. So it's fine if that's the image you want, but just be prepared that, it's not the most professional image. And then build your tribe. It is the time of your career that you start building your tribe, the people you want in your circle, the people that feed you, that you can feed, that give you the positivity, that will do a script practice with you, will sit down and do accountability with you, will, schedule play dates, go out and have a glass of wine, go play miniature golf, go play tennis. But choose people on this call. Look at these people. I like what he says. I like what she says. I like the way they act. I like the way they hold themselves. I like the way that they interact during these workshops, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Call them, pick their, instant message or personally message them on chat. Hey, do you have time to meet? I'd love to script practice with you. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. There's not a person on this call that won't respond. I can promise you that. They may say, I'm too busy right now, but can I get back to you? But they will respond. It's time that you surround yourself with people that have similar goals, that have similar likes and dislikes that you have, and that you can be yourself in, and you can get true feedback from. Okay, that's my soapbox. Anybody want to add anything to that one? I'm surprised, Liz, you don't have anything to say on that one.
Oh, I'm like all about a tribe. Like this is the people. I'm sorry, like I can go on and on about this. It's about the people that you surround yourself with. I kind of brought it up a little bit yesterday if you guys were on yesterday's call. Um, I learned very early in the business, there should be 5 people in your inner circle. One person should be at the same level of you, and the other 4 should be better than you in some kind of way. If you want to be if you want to become a millionaire, you need to surround yourselves with millionaires. That's just what it is. You will become a millionaire if you surround yourselves with a bunch of millionaires. That's the God's honest truth. It's just reciprocity. It's the principle of the universe and life. That's just what it is. I'm a firm believer. If you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get the hell out of that room.
That's right.
I'm serious, guys. In order to move yourself to the next level, it's not about turn and burn. Like, don't ever think that I'm saying, hey, you're better than anyone. That's not what I'm saying in any way, shape, or form. And I don't want it to come across that way. However, in order for you to grow, you have to surround yourself with higher level thinking. So I have my team and I have brand new agents, and I love them with everything in me. And I care about their success more than I care about my own, really and truthfully. And I'm willing to pour everything that I know into them and into you guys, right? I get on these calls faithfully for the past 2 years. Past couple days, like I've been a little busy, so forgive me. But I get on these calls because I'm willing to share and to give back to you guys. However, I also have to fill my cup, and there's agents who are mega icons that are willing to take me under their wing to help my business grow to the next level so that I can give back to you guys. So having a tribe is absolutely crucial. Cancer spreads very, very easily. So if you find someone that is a very Debbie Downer, negative Nancy, respectfully just say, hey, like, I appreciate you. No, no, all due respect. I'm a positive person. And unfortunately, this just ain't gonna work. Rip the Band-Aid off sooner rather than later. Cancer spreads very, very quickly. And I'm all about positive vibes. Like you can tell me, oh my God, like my cat passed away, God forbid, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, whatever. And I'm going to tell you, change the way you look at things. Your cat is no longer suffering and they're in a much better place. Like I will always look at the positive light of something because we don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But if you change your mentality on it, and it's all about the energy you put out into the universe. You put out negative energy, you're going to receive negative energy. You put out positivity and love and grace, you are going to receive that.
Absolutely. Good
So
job. Okay, and then I'm going to also talk about your wardrobe. Look over your wardrobe. You are working with people that this is probably the largest investment they are ever going to make. And you owe it to them to look professional. You don't have to wear a suit and tie. As a woman, you don't have to go out in suit and heels, but you do have to look professional. And when I hear an agent say, well, I don't want to overdress and make them feel uncomfortable, I don't think that there's an attorney in the world that thinks that way when you walk into their office. I don't think that there are CEOs that think that way. I don't think that there are the professionals in this world that think that way. They think this is the way a professional looks. This is the way a professional dresses. Now, do you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on wardrobe? Of course not, because you don't see the same people all the time. You have different people all the time that you're seeing. So you can have 3 really nice outfits, whether they're male or female. And that's really all you need until you have the funds to elaborate on that. Liz?
So I have to comment on this. So for me, I am very, I will dress business professional for our first initial meetings and everything like that, because a first impression is always the most important. However, like for me, I tell my clients, like sometimes I'm walking in mud or things like that when I'm out there showing property. And I'll tell them, I'm just like, look, the next time you see me when we're probably out searching for property, I'm going to be in sneakers and jeans because we're going to be out there showing property. So if you set that expectation in the beginning when it comes to your wardrobe, it will never be a question. Because when I'm having that first conversation with them, they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. So the way I show up when I'm showing property, they never question my experience and my knowledge of the business. However, I look like a crazy person. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm in a t-shirt, some jeans and sneakers, because more than likely, if you guys all saw Tiffany's video, she's sitting there in cabinets, doing all this craziness. And I am not going to be in some heels while I'm walking through like 4 acres of land. Like, I don't think anybody's going to do that unless you're like if you're a luxury agent and you're showing these like $7 bajillion condos. Like, probably not going to happen for me, and I'm okay with that. But a first impression is absolutely everything. And someone once said, if you wear a suit, it gives you authority with your people. Ibrahim Hussein said that. He said, use the advantage of a suit. It makes you the authority figure in the room where you automatically get their trust. It's crazy. It's just a mindset thing. It's just a mindset thing. But other than that,
You know what, Liz, you've cemented your professionalism by telling them, I'm going to show up in clothes that is crucial for what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
If you showed up when you're going to walk through mud in heels and a suit, they're going to think,
look like you don't know what the hell you're doing.
They're going to think, what the heck? What's she showing up like this for? Right. So that you're absolutely right. The first impression, and then by all means, if you're going to be walking in through the woods or through the mud, wear sneakers and jeans, right?
Absolutely. I'm like, guys, it's Haines City. It's Haines City. So right. I'm like, but where I'm getting at is, it's all about setting the clear expectations with your clients. Like, I'm not saying don't, like, if you can dress up, like DJ said, and if any woman needs help with look up Capsule Wardrobe. You will thank me later. Capsule Wardrobe. You will thank me later. Everything goes together. I'm a huge Capsule Wardrobe kind of gal. I love, don't get me started. But I just think that part of it is crucial. Initial meetings, absolutely dress to impress, because you are the professional. Yeah. And after that, you'll be just fine.
Right. I mean, you're in Florida and it's going to be 97 degrees today, and you show up with a suit and a suit jacket, your client's going to think, are they crazy? But that's the second appointment. The first appointment is going to be in an air-conditioned meeting, right? Room. So, okay. Now this is where I get off on things. Get a professional photo. Don't have your husband or wife take you outside and have a photo against the palm tree in the backyard. Get a professional photo taken. But please, you can see on the screen, the professional photos are on the top. Men, you're great. You never do this stupid stuff. But some of these photos that look like these women are applying for a stripper job just drive me crazy. Nobody cares that you have great legs. Nobody cares that you have great boobs. Just keep them covered and look like a professional, especially in your photos, which everybody's going to see. Okay, that's enough. All right. So, learn your tools. It's really your time to learn your tools. If you don't learn your tools now when you're a new agent, you are not going to have time to learn your tools later. And then what happens, I can tell you from experience, what happens is you're not using your tools and you're paying people to do things that you should be able to do yourself. And so you're making less money. Learn your tools, learn KV Core, learn SkySlope, learn all of those things now while you have the time. And now is when you have the time to interview for your vendors. Set up appointments with lenders in your area, with title company reps or attorney reps, home warranty reps, insurance agents. Put together your group. You don't want to be out with an agent that's moving down here from Michigan. are out with a client that's moving down here from Michigan, and they're like, do you know a lender? And you don't. And okay, write a contract. You need to take it somewhere. Do you know a title company? Do you know an attorney? Then what do you look like? How about they do want a home warranty rep, a home warranty policy, because they come from someplace where they always had a home warranty. Do you know the person? Make sure you do. If you don't know the insurance agents around that work very well with closings, that get everything done on time, then you don't look professional. So make sure that you get to know these people now while you have the time. Here's my car survival kit. Here's what you need to have in your car. Go buy one of these black boxes, put in there folders that you can keep so that you have typed out purchase contracts so that you can write one. If you have an older couple that don't want to do it online, have them write it. You can do it later at home and put it into the computer. Have your thank you notes. For those of you that have been working for a while, how many times do you get stuck sitting in your car waiting for people to show up? And you sit there and you sit there. You could be writing thank you notes. You could be making notes about things that you have to do. But if you're writing thank you notes, or you have your call list with you, you could be making calls. You could be you're sending out your thank you notes. You put the stamp on it. You drive past a post office. You drop them in. You also want to have a couple of umbrellas. Why do you want 2 umbrellas? One for you, one for your client. You want snacks. You want food, and you want water. We live in Florida, by the way. You need water, and you need toilet paper roll, and you need tissues. Kind of weird, but true. And you need an extra shirt, blouse, a white shirt, a white blouse, folded neatly in your car so that if you spill something on you or you walk past something and you run into it and you get dirt all over you, you have something to change to before you go to your next appointment. And have your tennis shoes with you, because just like Liz said, if you show up to look at a property and you don't want to go out in your good shoes, then have a pair of tennis shoes there so that you can change into it and be practical. I'm telling you, do this. It'll make all the difference in your world. We only have about 10 minutes later. This is a perfect day for a realtor. And I always share this with new agents. There's never been a perfect day, but this is it. 8 to 8:30, you get prepped for your lead generation. Actually, you should be on this call from 8:30 to 9:30. And then from 9:30 to 11:30, you should be lead generating. Then you have business servicing, that's responding to emails and texts until noon. And then you take lunch. I'm a big proponent of taking lunch. And I don't care what you do, just have some time by yourself, calm down. 1 to 2 is lead conversion, following up with people, setting appointments, business servicing. 2 to 3, again, continuing on with responding to emails, texts, and calls. 3 to 6, listing appointments and showing property, and 6 plus on personal family time. There's probably not an agent on this call that has this kind of a schedule, but it's an ideal. It's something to work towards, right? So at least you have an idea of what a schedule should look like. And I want to show you how much money can you earn your first year in business or your second year. Let's look at this. If I want to make $100,000 my first year, and you're on an 80-20 split with your brokerage, you have to earn $125,000 gross commission. Then, so let's say your average commission on a home sale is 2.5%, because that's a national average. Then what happened to my other thing? So, and if you're gonna have to have $4,166,660 in total volume. If we use the median home sale of $392,000, that means you have to sell 10.6 homes a year. Now that's less than 1 a year. at under $400,000. There are lots of you on this call that are in areas that your average home sale is way above $400,000. So that means if your average home sale is 600,000, you're probably only going to have to sell 8 homes to make this happen. Now, does anybody think that this is impossible to sell 10 homes to make $100,000? The average agent in the United States sells 6 homes a year. You are not average. Don't be average. Be above average. And choose your price point wisely. When you have an opportunity right now, choose your price point. If you want to work with $200,000 buyers, good luck. But do that. That's fine. But understand what your numbers are. If you want to earn $100,000 a year, then make sure that you're working with clients that have an average of at least $392,000 in there for their properties. Anybody have anything to add to that? Anybody want to take a screenshot of that, of what you have to do to make $100,000 a year? So here's what I'm going to end with, that productivity is never an accident. It's a result of a commitment of excellence, intelligent planning, and focused efforts. So ask yourself today, are you committed? Are you committed to your success? And if you are, what are you going to do about it? Have I shared this with you? Do you even have a? I don't even think I shared. Did I share? Did you see that? Oh, wow. I'm going to stop my sharing. Okay. Anything anybody wants to add at this point in time? We have 5 more minutes before we have to turn this off. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, about what we talked about. Somebody? Anybody?
I just want to say thank you, DJ, for the recap. I know when we do these series for the emerging agents, because it is week by week, sometimes it's challenging to remember what all we went over the course of that 8 weeks. So thank you for the recap.
And for sharing a lot of tips that nobody tells you. Nobody tells you to get bank accounts. Nobody tells you about your wardrobe. Nobody tells you about to have all those things in your car, because you wait until you spill something down the front of your shirt and you realize you're going to have to spend the rest of the day, or you're going to go shopping and buy something. So, just take this information and do what you want with it. Oh, you want somebody that wants this slide? Let me, sure, I can do that. Let me go back. There you go. Anybody else want to take a? I'll leave that up. You can take a picture of it if you want. But it's not hard to make $100,000, you guys. It isn't. It's just a matter of commitment and getting started. You have to, if you are still getting ready to get started, to get out, it's time to get out. Stop getting ready, stop getting started. It's time to get out and meet people. Get out of your house, go meet people. I worked with an agent, was in my office in Bradenton, and this woman built her whole business by having coffee at a local coffee shop every 2 or 3 days a week. And why? Because we were close to, Anna Maria. People were there vacationing. She'd sat at the bar. People would come in by themselves. They'd be having breakfast. The husband came in because his wife and the kids were sleeping in. People came in because they were moving down, and they were looking at, at what they wanted to do there. And she just talked to them and picked up clients every week, because people were coming to Anna Maria, and she went where they were. So go where they are, go where the people are, go where the people are that want to sell or buy property and have the money to do so. You know, it's really great if you are volunteering at a homeless shelter, and I applaud that, but make sure that you balance that with going out and having to an event that has people that can afford to buy. Tiffany, we can take us off. We can stop the recording if you want.
Mhm.